Hey, this is Drew, and I'm going to show you guys how to clean a Benelli Super Black Eagle 1 and 2. You want to make sure your gun is unloaded. As you can see, it's unloaded, and you can see there's no ammo in the magazine. So that's what you first want to start off by doing. And then you want to start off by pulling your handle out of your action, out of your bolt, and then you want to go to the top and unscrew this mag cap. Once you've unscrewed that, set that aside, set those aside. Then you want to pull off your, once you're done with that, you want to pull off your barrel and your forearm, and it should leave your bolt behind. So once you've done that, you can separate your forearm from your barrel, set those aside, and you can clean those. And then you want to pull your bolt straight out. We'll get to this later. You don't have to use any tools to clean this Benelli, either one of these Benellis, the Super Black Eagle and 1 and 2. You don't have to use any tools. So you want to start off by pushing in the firing pin, pushing down on it, and then pulling this little O-ring with the pin, pulling that straight out towards me. Well, out of it. As you can see, there's a little O-ring. Once that's done, you want to let go of the firing pin slowly so it doesn't shoot out on you, and then you have the firing pin and the spring. Set the spring aside, put the firing pin aside. We're going to use the firing pin later. Next, you want to pop this pin out by just letting gravity take care of it. You should just give it a jiggle and it'll just pop right out. Set that aside. And then lastly, you want to take the actual head of it and just pop that out and put that aside. And then you want second to lastly, you want to pop that aside, and then lastly you want to pop the spring out. So once that is done, you want to put those all aside, and you want to take your firing pin that you have, and you want to use that as a punch to pop out the last pin to release your trigger assembly. Make sure your gun's on safety, and make sure, well, with the way I've been doing it, it's been working better if I push away, like from the left side of the gun, where the shells come out on this side, I punch out from this side. So I just push into it, and you just gotta force it through, and it just pops it out. There we go. Once you've popped your pin out, just pull it all the way out, put that pin aside, and just pull your assembly out. If it doesn't come out right away, you might want to have to push this reliever button, this silver one right here. Press that if you've ever shot it or something like that, but I didn't have to, so now I get to just put that aside. You don't want to clean this like at all. I mean, it shouldn't be dirty. It maybe just one spot of oil, just one drop. That's just in the main section where all this stuff is going on. I wouldn't touch it though. Then you want to clean the inside of this and the barrel, and then the actual bolt. And everything goes on it. So just a little bit. Don't have to really oil this gun very much. The only places that I would oil would be the trigger mechanism, just a tiny bit, like one drop. That's all you really need. Now for reassembly, you just want to do it all in reverse. So you want to take your action and your trigger mechanism, and you want to reinsert it. When you're reinserting it, you want to make sure you push down this release button, push it down so it allows it to slide in. So slide it in, and then it should just slide right into place. You want to make sure this right here, this little lip right here, make sure that it goes over top the metal. So make sure it slides right over top and slides into place, and then you want to make sure your pins are aligned. If it isn't aligned, push the little red button. That should align it. If for some reason, it always makes it work. So it's aligned, and now you want to put your pin and drive it back in. All you need to use is your hand. Just pop it in with your palm and make it flush. That's it. Then you want to set that aside for later, and you want to reassemble your bolt. To reassemble your bolt, you want to slide your spring back in, and you want to slide the head back in, facing with this engraving, this groove part that's cut out, that facing downward. But I gotta reinsert my spring, fill up. Rev that groove part, face downward, and then line that hole up on the top where that pin popped out of. And on this pin, there's a little on this pin, there's a little straight line, and on that line, that aligns where the firing pin falls through, right through. And make sure you have that lined up, otherwise your firing pin will not go in correctly. So line that line, like pretend it's facing down the muzzle. So I pretty much got mine straight. If it doesn't work the first time, you can always just let gravity take care of it, like pop it out again. But you want to have it lined straight down with the muzzle. This isn't perfect, but it will do. So next you want to put your firing pin on the spring and line that up and put that down in the hole where it came from. Your firing pin should align this front silver pin that we put in, and make sure you don't let it go, or else you'll be shooting the firing pin across the room. Next you want to take your O-ring and you want to reinsert it. There's a little tiny groove where it wore down on this actual one. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but there's a little flat spot right towards on the top, and that faces the inside towards the muzzle, so that way it's able to insert the pin. I don't know if it will happen with you, but that's just what is on this specific one. So then you just reinsert it all the way down, make sure it's flush with this back bolt edge, and then slide it back on your action with the tail going back, and slide it back on the action along the line. You could slide it all the way back into its spot, but you don't want to do that if you're going to putting your barrel right back on. So next you want to put your barrel and your forearm back on, slide it back on, and apply it to, over top of your bolt and everything. Slide it back on, give it a couple little shakes and stuff. This should allow your Benelli to fall right into place. Line it up flush. You can reinsert your handle now. Screw your cap back in. Once you've tightened down your cap, you're set and ready to go. There's only what I've seen, the difference between the Benelli Super Black Eagle 1 and 2 is on this one, we have an extended mag on this one right now. But the other thing is the trigger mechanism, the assembler inside there. That is, it seems to have just little slight grooves inside of the assembly. I'll take a picture of it in a little bit and I'll show you guys. I'll just put it at the end of the video. That's how you clean the Super Black Eagle 1 and 2. And push it in. It should line up. Yep. Don't do that.